they've got a few of the young players that are starting to be intriguing. I know it's only a 4-game winning streak. It's nothing special, but all of a sudden there's some youthful enthusiasm around here. McCannon's got them playing the way they should have been playing under Sandberg and weren't. They're playing with it. They're playing with passion. They're playing smart. They're playing aggressive. And when you look at the young players, Nola will be one of them tonight. But look at the way Odubel Herrera has been hitting the ball lately, bunting for hits, patrolling that outfield, hitting gaps. Had a home run the other day. Look at Cesar Hernandez, double and a triple last night. He is continuing to put separation between himself and Utley. Franco, he's got the elbow issue. We'll find out more today. He said last night that he didn't think it was going to be a long-term problem. A little rest is the way he said it. Again, we'll find out some more today. But he had a line drive single off the wall last night. You know how strong you have to be and what kind of bat speed did you take? A line drive single. He's got classic off the bat power. So it's been a very interesting couple of weeks here when you talk about young players. It's years from forming into a championship team. But if you add Nola to it tonight, like again, Herrera, Hernandez, Franco, Galvis is remarkable defensively at shortstop. You can see some of the pieces starting to fit together.
Yeah, I like seeing Nola up here. This whole service time thing kind of holds some of these guys back. He deserves it. He belongs here. But have you sensed and seen a difference, Jack, around this team since Pete Mackinnon has taken over? I mean, do you think that he has been a positive influence on this team? Absolutely
a positive influence. It wouldn't have taken much. And I know it's easy to kick Sandberg as he's out the door, but this is the big leagues. I voted for Ryan Sandberg for the Hall of Fame. I call it like I see it with Ryan Sandberg. He couldn't manage. He couldn't manage a clubhouse. He couldn't manage the media. He couldn't manage in-game. He couldn't manage personalities. He couldn't motivate. It was a complete disaster. And to bring Pete Mackinnon in here, he's managed before, not any great at lengths, but he's managed 2 teams as an interim basis before, and he's a manager. He's a career big league coach, player, manager, and he speaks his mind, and he doesn't make any mistakes in game, and he's been willing to trust these young players. Now, in the case of Hernandez, that decision was made for him when Utley got injured, but he's trusted his young players. He's been an absolute positive influence. No way in line to be the next manager. There's going to be a greater house cleaning than that. But yeah, there's been a great increase in the way the Phillies have played with passion since McCannon's taken over. Now, he certainly started out slow. I think he lost 7 in his first 8, something like that. But he's been pretty impressive, and you really like his candor. He doesn't hold back. He says what he thinks. He criticizes players when he has to, and he's very clear with that. That's not necessarily translates into wins, how he communicates, but communication is a big part of being a manager, and he is a communicator. He has fun with the players. When he was the third base coach, he was always the guy who would kid around with the players. He was kind of a player's guy. He's changed a bit since becoming manager, but he's still got a pretty good rapport with the players in the room. Sandberg never had that.
Yeah, and you said he's probably not going to be the manager. Do you think that he should be given an opportunity? Should he be in the organization in some stretch if he's not going to be the manager? Or do you think he should be given a fair shot to be the guy? Do the players like him?
They do. But we're talking about a new president coming in at the end of this situation. And we're also talking about the general manager, Ruben Amaro. His contract is expiring. You have a new president and a new general manager coming in sometime around the first week of October. It would be unlikely for them not to want to clean house. The way the Phillies played earlier this year, missing bases, forgetting to wear their force out, ridiculous baseball, unthinking baseball, uncaring baseball, the blowouts that they experienced down in San Francisco and on the West Coast when they looked like they didn't even care anymore. To me, that was enough to blow out the entire coaching staff. However, it's a long season. So you look at what McCannon's done. He's a career baseball guy. Maybe you want to have some link between one era to the next. You could do worse than keep Pete McCannon around in some capacity, maybe as the first lieutenant to the new manager. A lot of that will depend on who the new manager is. Maybe the new manager wants his own guys in here. But it's a fair point, Mike, that at least Pete McCannon is playing himself into consideration for somebody that you might want to keep around in some capacity.
Yeah, and there were some reports last week, Jack, that there was some disrespect by the players to Sandberg. Is that because they knew he didn't know how to manage? Was that them basically showing that, hey, we don't respect your decision-making?
It was obvious. Kyle Kendrick used to complain about being taken out of the games. There was the time that Papelbon cited general soreness and basically refused to go in the game, and Sandberg didn't. After the game, I was in New York. I was there. Sandberg barely knew what was going on. Come on, when they take the bullpen phone off the hook on a night that the bullpen is the relief pitching is in disarray, all of a sudden the bullpen phone is off the hook. You think that was by accident? No. It was an utter total disrespect to Ryne Sandberg, and why it was that way, I think it just goes to human nature. The players knew they could get away with it, and they did. And you saw the result. Horrible, atrocious, unacceptable, appalling baseball. McCannon, again, he comes in with a little bit of background. And he comes in with it, too. He comes in with a what do I care kind of approach. You know, when the general manager introduces the manager, in this case McCannon, by saying, well, listen, he's got no delusions of grandeur. He knows he's short-term here. Hey, he's telling you he's not going to be your manager long-term. So hey, what does Pete McCannon have to lose? So he manages. He manages with a certain joy, and he manages with a certain honesty. And he certainly manages with certain experience. So you put the joy that he brings to the clubhouse, the honesty that he brings to the clubhouse, the experience that he brings to the clubhouse. He's been around. He's been a successful coach. He was an above-average major league player. He brings the entire package into a situation where he really had nothing to lose. He's probably out of here at the end of the year anyway. And the results now show that they're playing much, much better baseball.
Yeah, and, they've won, 4 in a row, going for 5 tonight with Nola on the mound. And obviously, Nola, a little shot in the arm for them. And you see Franco's not going to play tonight, but at least he's been something. Jack, you're around the team a lot. Do you see other pieces on this team? Are there other pieces that might be able to stick around and help this team get better faster? I don't know, maybe better faster is not the right, but guys who might be here 3, 4, 5 years that you'd say, all right, they were part of that, and here they are helping them get out of it.
Oh, sure. Like I said before, Franco, Galvis, Hernandez, Herrera, Ken Giles, maybe Buchanan, and you'll get an idea tonight with Nola. They would be definitely on there right off the top of my head on that list. Of guys, if there is a championship run 2, 3, 4 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised to see all of those in some way be involved in that.
How do you think the Hamels thing plays out? It seems that people are beginning to feel this is 50-50, Jack, whether or not he stays or goes, mainly because Andy McPhail came in first day and said, I haven't been in the game for 3 years, don't know a lot of the organizations. Is that tipping the scale towards he stays, or is it definitive that he goes?
He's going to go. I would be stunned if he doesn't. I mean, when you have the manager already let it out, I mean, when have you ever heard a manager say, well, I'm paraphrasing here, but something to the effect of, well, most likely Cole Hamels is going to get traded. That's pretty much tells you what the direction that they're heading in. They've got to really make that move at this point. If there's some way Cole Hamels was to get hurt or have some career-ending thing, you get nothing for him at this point, it's they're going to move Cole Hamels.
Papelbon a foregone conclusion as well? I mean, he's been pretty adamant, but is he?
Yeah.
They got any takers?
No, there'll be somebody will take him. Yeah, he's 16 for 16 in closing. He was spectacular last night. The pitches were right on point. He's at the peak of his game right now. The Phillies would eat enough of the salary to make it worthwhile to some other teams, and you've already heard the rumblings that they're preparing for Giles to be their closer for the last 2 months of the season. So I would, again, nothing is official, but I would be stunned if you saw Papelbon or Hamels here for the rest of the season. The way I phrase it like that. Maybe if they don't go on the 31st, then maybe they would move on a waiver deal after the 31st, sometime before a championship contender to get them on the active roster before September 1st. But I will be very, very surprised if either Papelbon or Hamels is here at the end of this season. They'll be gone.
Jack McCaffery, sports columnist for the Delaware County Daily Times. Utley, how do they play his final months here? I mean, and are these his final months? Could this be the end of Chase Utley playing in Philadelphia?
No, I would think that he'll be back next year, but he's going to lose his job to Cesar Hernandez. You can see that coming. It's just Hernandez is too good to keep him down at this point for Utley. Now he's been doing a lot of baseball work. He's getting ready to come back. They can bring him back slowly. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, maybe first base sometime in his career in the future, or some kind of a left-handed bat off the bench, but he's going to lose his job to Cesar Hernandez. That's pretty obvious. But no, I don't see any inclination for him to retire, and maybe if something they can move Howard or Howard can somehow move on, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Utley at first base, something like that. There's always injuries and other unexpected things that pop up. We were talking about Utley last night with McCannon and Amaro, and Amaro made it clear that it would be McCannon's choice who's the second baseman. But knock on wood, maybe Hernandez pulls a muscle or something like that, and Utley gets back in there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chase Utley get at least enough at-bats in August and September to give him one last hurrah. And I mean that in a sense, not entertain the fans, but if there really was something to this ankle injury that he's got, and maybe there is, but let's say there is, and let's say he's got something left, they owe it to themselves to take one last look at it. Now, they've done this 2 or 3 times with Utley. It looked like he was done. They look at him. They bring him back. He's healthy. Now he's not healthy. He's healthy. Now he's not healthy. He never really does regain the power. He's got warning track power. That's all he's got left. But I would think one more for the road, one more look to see if he's got anything left. I think it's very doubtful, Mike, that he's got anything left. He's off the top of my head, was he 36, 37 years old?
Yeah, 36.
36 years old. Series of lower body problems over the last 5 years. Obvious diminished power. When he was at his peak, as you remember, in the World Series in 2009, he was driving the ball not into the first deck, not into the second deck, but close to the third deck that he had. So it's just a remarkable power hitter. And that kept the pitchers off balance. They were hitting them with the pitches and everything else. He did better pitches to hit, better pitches to drive. And they're not afraid of him anymore. And he just sort of lost it into the outfield. Be surprised if he's got anything left. But they're not winning the championship this year anyway. They probably owe it to themselves to take one last look.
Spending some time with Jack McCaffery. I guess when you were holding on there, I was talking about Buchanan going down and Williams coming up. Kind of a strange move, if you ask me. Do they not want to take a little bit more look at Buchanan? I mean, he could be maybe another Kendrick where he's your number 5 and just kind of – I mean, do you think that was a kind of a precarious decision to send him down and bring Williams back?
It was a surprising decision, and I don't think it's permanent. Every indication that we got was that it's temporary. They'll get a couple starts in the minor leagues and eventually come back. And we just talked about how we all think that that Hamels will be gone. So that'll be another opportunity for starting pitcher to come back up. There's some kind of bookkeeping situation that they're playing with here. Mm-hmm. They also want to keep Buchanan on a regular pitching rotation. There's some off days coming up at the big league level that could have disturbed that. There's still questions about when and where they want to pitch Hamels, so they were more comfortable juggling Williams around than they would be Buchanan. But we haven't seen the last of David Buchanan. All
right, Jack McCaffery, columnist at the Delaware County Daily Times. At Jack McCaffery, the Phillies will see Aaron Nola's debut tonight, weather permitting. Hopefully they were able to get that one in. No Franco tonight, but Nola on the bump for the Phillies against the Tampa Bay Rays at Citizens Bank Park. Jack, always a pleasure, pal. Thanks so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me.